Following the success of Resident Evil 2 Remake, Capcom released Resident Evil 3 Remake in less than a year. They really wanted to capitalize on that success of RE2 while the iron was still hot. It didn't quite hit the same mark RE2 did, but I still find there was a lot to enjoy in it, and hey, it still looks incredible, so at the very least, it's a visual treat. Don't make it weird. And we got a short one here for you. With the game totaling at maybe 3 hours, I'm amazed this video is this long. With the RE4 Remake, it recontextualized and added new lore. Knowing one of these guys is Luis makes this scene feel a bit heavier, especially knowing what the Nemesis is capable of. Jill's very haunted by the events at the Spencer Mansion, and this dream sequence highlights that fear, and it also foreshadows her infection later in the game. I honestly really like Jill's redesign. It's simple, effective, and still makes good use of the color palette her outfits are known for. It's no Star's outfit, but it gets the job done. Ooh, that's a smooth-ass transition.
Alright, let me grab my...
Nemesis coming in like the Kool-Aid man. And we waste no time getting into the action. RE3 was always more action-focused than 1 and 2, and it's no different in this regard. I love this opening sequence a lot. Nemesis is shown as such an imposing threat, and we have no idea why he just did some unplanned renovations to our apartment. Obviously, we know why he's here, but that's the price of remakes. Nemesis subtly reminding you that this game was made in Japan. Our intro to RE3 really highlights what the game does well, and that is the pulse-pounding action. Not even 20 minutes into this game, and
you were almost a Jill sandwich.
I love these campy-ass movie posters. We've got Top Gun, Alien, and Saw references, while the titles and subtext are also tell us just how bad a day we're in for. Red's the homie. He risked getting off to buy the Nemesis just to make sure Jill got out safely. I wish we had a bit more time with him trying to escape the streets of Raccoon City, but that's how it be sometimes.
Sorry.
Just so cute, always apologizing. A helicopter? On a rooftop. Nothing could go wrong here. This section really reminds me of that first fight with Jack Baker in RE7, but I'm like, Jack, Nemesis isn't gonna let that slide. While I like his original design better, I don't think the redesign is bad. Once he loses the trash bag on his head, he is just as imposing and menacing as the original counterpart. Damn, how did Carlos get a rocket launcher this early? Well, that's a wrap.
Don't you like that in a man?
No thanks. He's all yours.
I love their banter so much. Their personalities clash so hard in the best way.
Whoa, 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 whoa. What are you talking about?
Umbrella is shady as hell, but Carlos is just a guy doing his job. How is he supposed to know that they create eldritch horrors in their free time? It makes sense Jill wouldn't trust him, but he just wants to help the people of Raccoon City. Now Mikhail, he knows exactly what's going on. Not a word has been spoken yet, but his eyes say everything we need to know. He recognized Jill as soon as she walked through the door. She's been digging deep into Umbrella's biggest secrets. They'd absolutely be keeping tabs on her.
Right. How's that going for you?
She's so sassy, I love her! Exploring the streets of Raccoon City is definitely a highlight of the game. It's a fairly small portion of it, but it makes up for it with how much fun it is to roam the streets. Finding new weapons and upgrades, stockpiling ammo, and running back to the code for the safe because I forgot what it was, but I want that damn site! RE3 really amps up the amount of zombies on screen at a time, but the added environmental traps help with thinning out the horde a bit. Shock traps are nice to be able to run right past them, and the red barrels do what red barrels do best.
Explosions! Oh, stars this soft. No wonder so many of you dead.
From the moment we meet him, Nikolai is the worst. I hated this dude from the second he showed up on screen to the very end of the game, and that is no way a bad thing. Neil Newman does an amazing job making this guy one of the biggest in the Resident Evil franchise, and it is so satisfying leaving him on that rooftop. Fun fact, he also voices Heisenberg and Resident Evil Village in a story in Baldur's Gate 3. Man's got so many fantastic performances under his belt.
It might be handy if you, the master of unlocking, take it with you.
For real though, Jill carries this for the majority of the game. Who needs a single-use key when you're the master of unlocking? Once again, reminding you this game was made in Japan. Seriously, what the hell is with all these tentacles? It sucked to have Raccophobia for this part. These spider enemies are sneaky, hard to hit, and they always have a friend. And also creepy as f***. Spiders are already creepy. Why are we turning them into zombies, Capcom? The first time I played this section, it kicked my ass. It felt so good frying all those Australian Outback rejects. Every time I see Nemesis run, it reminds me of the cop from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. It looks so dumb, but I love it so much. The mechanics of Resident Evil 3 are largely the same as RE2, but the one thing they did add was the sweet dodge roll that could be followed up with some free shots or just used to run away. It's a really nice addition to an already super solid gameplay formula. I really wish that we got more of this Nemesis chasing you around like Mr. X did in RE2, but the little bit we did get is amazing. Just like Mr. X, he's persistent as f***. Unlike Mr. X, Nemesis can run, leap tall buildings in a single bound, and hit you with his hentai. He can be stunned just the same, but he stays down for a much shorter time. Dude refuses to be ignored, and he is such a menace in this section, which plays directly into the more action focus that RE3 had. We can also turn normal zombies into these weird tentacle dudes that remind me of the Plaga parasites from RE4. They can be a pain to deal with because of the range that they have, but it gives the game a bit more enemy variety, and they're not too difficult unless you're just trying to run past.
Come on, you creepy ass stalker. You want stars? I'll give you stars.
Jill's a badass. She's more than willing to take fights she seemingly has no chance of winning and still comes out on top every time. I imagine she could punch a boulder with submission just as well as Chris can. And her badassery is wholly thanks to Nicole Topkins' performance. She portrays Jill's sassy, sarcastic, confident attitude so well it just makes me want more Jill. Safe room music is always so soothing and safe, but there's something I especially like about the RE3 version. It's almost like a lullaby, which is a far cry from the rest of the game offers. The Hunter Gammas are apparently created by splicing human and amphibian DNA with a little bit of T-virus on the side, and they're just so nasty. Great enemy designs, but disgusting to look at. Luckily, they move pretty slowly, so you've got plenty of time to be grossed out while pumping them with lead.
Yeah, I'm alive. I lost him.
She, in fact, did not lose him. And this has a flamethrower now? Dude was already a walking war crime. What's one more? Up until this point, Nemesis just came off as another roided up tyrant, but being capable of using weapons really highlights the heightened intelligence the NE alpha parasite gives him. It's just too bad he likes to play with his food, and Jill is the immovable object to his unstoppable force. This is the first time we actually have to fight the Nemesis, and the spectacle could not be greater. Forcing the player to fight him on a fairly small arena on top of a burning building while he sets your surroundings ablaze, and there's the added layer of being able to destroy the fuel tank on his back, which would normally put any flamethrower wielding weapon enemy in dirt. Nemesis is just built different. He'll start swinging his broken weapon around like a baseball bat until you finally put him down. And the score here really just keeps up the pressure. The erratic drums, bellowing horns, and fast-paced synths create such a great tension for an already enjoyable boss fight.
Jill.
Kendo.
It's so great seeing Kendo again, and it's even better seeing him friendly. He made weapons for stars, so he obviously had some familiarity with Jill. And knowing what happens to the subway, it's probably best that he stayed at the shop. What would Nemesis be without his iconic rocket launcher? It's such an integral part of the character. It had to show up eventually, but the way he rolls up and unloads that thing, straight big energy. My reaction to every Resident Evil plot.
I'm not gonna die on you, leave you in a cold, cruel, Carlosless world.
I love Carlos. When are we getting a Carlos solo game, Capcom? When?
Funny, the gate was locked. Don't you think?
I'd really like to know how long Mikhail knew about Nikolai and how much differently the story would have played out if he'd survived. Maybe Jill would have had a bit more with the whole creepy stalker situation, or even gotten the vaccine to the chopper before the nukes launched. Obviously, he has to die for narrative reasons, but it's fun to think about. And just like with the original version of RE3, Mikhail goes down in a blaze of glory. Seeing Marvin again was not something I was expecting, and I was always curious how he got infected in the first place. With as tough as nails Marvin is, of course it had to be someone he was close to.
Sorry.
Why can Brad speak here? Has he not fully turned yet? We see in RE2 in the late stages, Marvin got aggressive but snapped himself out of it, and Kendo's daughter speaks. It's an interesting story beat that isn't really explained at all. What do you guys think? Seeing the RPD again was awesome. I wasn't expecting to roam these halls again, but it's a welcome addition. Plus, we get to see the events leading up to Leon's arrival, like how this poor individual got his face removed. Carlos's arsenal is pretty bare bones compared to Jill's, but he more than makes up for it with sheer firepower. His assault rifle shreds through zombies, and when it's fully upgraded, it makes easy work of anything in your way.
Yeah. Welcome, Leon. Bet you had a kick-ass first day.
Understatement of the century. Man, it's so fun being able to bully these guys instead of having to quietly sneak past them. So you're why I had to scramble around the police station trying to find that damn valve. Thanks a lot, Carlos.
I'm trapped in a goddamn hospital surrounded by every kind of abomination.
And it turns out our princess is in another castle. I don't care what any of y'all say. This second form is a great design. It's feral looking, nasty, and shows that Nemesis can continuously mutate to get this job done. I think we could have stayed bipedal a bit longer, but it definitely didn't ruin the character. And this second boss fight with him is probably my favorite. He's so much faster, more aggressive, and the arena is just small enough that he's always on top of you. And when he runs on the walls, you can knock him with some mine rounds, explaining a weak point. I love little mechanics like that. Jill is so fed up with this dude's shit. But Nemesis just had to get the last laugh, infecting her with the T-virus, which funnily enough is Capcom's reasoning for why she hasn't aged a day in the recent RE Death Island movie. And Carlos coming in to save the day. Everybody needs Carlos in their life.
Voice match? What kind of sci-fi bullshit is this?
I love his reactions to all the things we just accept as normal Resident Evil bullshit, like the voice-coded door or the weird keys in the RPD. I'd really like to have a chart with whoever keeps shoving these guys in lockers and spook the f*** out of me, because I need him to stop it. The Hunter Betas. These guys are tough. They're fast, resilient as hell, and can one-shot you if you like it. As my friends say, when you're playing fighting games, just don't get hit. And going from mowing down tons of zombies to getting shit on by these armored bastards is pretty humbling. This room sucked on my first playthrough. I can't tell you how long I tried to run in and shoot them up, only to die into their one-shot. Until I realized chucking a grenade or two and then removes it from existence.
I hope and pray by making this recording and bringing the truth to light.
Crazy how destroying an entire city makes you grow a conscience. Better late than never, I guess. The end of Carlos's hospital visit is insane. Mowing down hordes of zombies with hunters coming in later. I love playing as Carlos, and it's perfect send-off to his gameplay that highlights everything his loadout does well. And forcing you to hold out for that final countdown being low on ammo is stressful.
You're damn right. What do you think you're gonna do? Whole city's about to be microwaved.
Loving the optimism, T. Tyrell has that I don't get paid enough for this attitude, and I wish we'd gotten to spend more time with him. I really enjoy his character, and I'm noticing that's something I keep saying is I want more time with RE3 because it's so good and they were doing so well. You can completely skip returning to the hospital with Jill, but if you do, you'll miss out on that juicy Lightning Hawk Magnum, and that thing can help a lot down in the nest. It's almost like he's taunting Jill up there, knowing full well the elevator is sabotaged. And he's got every kind of nasty critter in the game just shy of Nemesis waiting for us in this warehouse. It's a nice showcase of how far we've come, plowing through things that were a struggle early in the game.
He'll call off the strike if, and this is one big ass if.
Big is an understatement, but if anyone's gonna be able to do it, it's Super Cop. We met the Paleheads in the warehouse, but they're on full force in the nest. They're pretty much tankier zombies, but the sounds they make so much creepier. Plus, a little extra variety never hurts. As you collect the vaccine ingredients, the music ramps up, getting faster and louder. It gives us a feeling of this is life or death and really makes things feel like time is running out without actually putting a timer on that section. Looks like Gaberiel had quite a few failed tyrants before perfecting Mr. X and the others. It's really cool seeing what can be assumed are varying stages of their development. This is a lot like the greenhouse lab puzzle on RE2, and just like it always messes me up at repeat playthroughs.
The city needs that vaccine!
More than I do.
Nikolai is such a scumbag, and I love to hate this dude.
Number 7!
This third fight with Nemesis is largely the same as the second, but with even tighter quarters. Nemesis gets a whole new wombo combo attack and some zombie backup. Luckily for Jill, she gets some support from our boy Carlos. Man is always coming in clutch. Yeah, Carlos, this is a one-ton haymaker, but I have a feeling that's not going to keep him down. The big slug thing really reminds me of Nemesis' original form, and I'm kind of glad they came up with something new. He always looked a little goofy like that.
I've got this.
I know you do.
I love the level of trust Carlos and Jill develop with each other over the course of the game. It's a good relationship that I'd like to see develop a bit more in the future. Carlos game win, Capcom. The final form of Nemesis is terrifying. He's just a mass of flesh, arms, and anger. Every mutation has led up to this final fight, and it couldn't have been a better spectacle. And score goes crazy during this encounter. The ominous piano, uplifting strings, the intimidating horns blasting over top, slowly building to an almost triumphant symphony at the end of the battle. What are we playing, Dark Souls? Does it make any sense that Jill can lift this massive railgun? Not at all. But the rule of cool tells me I have to win this, because like, come on, it's a f***ing railgun.
Next time, take the hit!
You know I gotta win the sauce. If you got back up from this, I'd just let him kill me.
Don't care. My client ordered me to reduce Umbrella to rub.
We never really get a clear picture of who Nikolai's client is. It could be a rival company trying to destroy Umbrella from the inside, or it could even be Wesker trying to tie up loose ends in the city. But I appreciate the mystery. Not every question needs to be answered, especially when Nikolai almost certainly dies in the nuke.
I told you I couldn't leave you in a Carlos's world. That would just be too cruel.
If only Capcom felt the same way about Carlos.
I don't mind a little detective work.
Yeah, we've seen your apartment, Joe. But beyond that, this is really the only decision. No way letting Nikolai live would end well. So time to address the elephant in the room. Resident Evil 3 was not a perfect remake by any stretch of the imagination. Multiple sections of the game ended up being cut. The game was far too short, and Nemesis, while I enjoyed my time with him, was not what he once was. It's obvious how rushed this remake was. A recurring theme I had while playing is, I wish I had more time, both with the characters and sections of the game. But that really lends itself to what the game does well. The locations are fun to explore and quite varied, and the few times Nemesis is allowed to roam the environment are exhilarating as he never gives you a second to breathe. He really shines in his boss fights as well for the same reason. I just wish he had been given a little bit more room to breathe. Let him be the bipedal stalker for a bit before turning him into a savage monster of his second form. But the gameplay is just as solid as its predecessor, offering the same level of polish, with the new dodge roll being a very welcome mechanic. The game's cast and the relationships between them are fantastic and some of my favorites of any Resident Evil title. I couldn't help but love every single one of them. Carlos, obviously, being my favorite. Every word out of that man's mouth made me smile like a little schoolgirl. Nikolai, at the end of the day, is evil guy's evil, but he has so much charisma and presence that it doesn't bother me. I just can't help but want more for them. So while the game didn't quite feel long enough and was missing certain aspects, I still find myself wanting more because I genuinely enjoyed my time with Resident Evil 3. RE3 Remake isn't bad. It's just a victim of being rushed out the door to make sales, and I really wish that it had gotten more love that RE2 and 4 received with their remakes. Anyway, what did you guys think of RE3? Let me know down below. Remember, drive the speed limit, drink some water, and love one another. Pizza.